Hello and welcome to a double stitch creations tutorial. Today we're going to be making Tao the Platypus. He's my pencil topper and he's from my Aussie Power collection. And so we're going to be working on him today. Alrighty, let's get started. If you purchase the kit with the pattern, you get this cute little bag. You get two types of brown wool, so a dark and a light. Some wool for his eyes. Bit of practice yarn so you can practice before you start on your platypus. Your 3.5mm hook, tapestry needle, and this very handy stitch marker. That all comes, and of course some hobby felt to put a little bit of filling inside of him. This is made from beautiful eucalyptus fibre, so very natural and I love it. And for this project, you'll need to have on hand a pair of scissors. Alrighty, let's get started. So we're working off the pattern. Okay, we're starting on the, I guess, is it the bill? The platypus's bill. And we're starting with the dark brown. And to do that, I make a slip knot, so I leave a tail for weaving in later. I wrap this around my finger twice. I grab the back loop and I pull it over the front loop, and I once more grab my tail and I wrap it in front of the loop that is still on my finger, and I grab the back loop and I pull over the front loop, and now I've got this loop or slip knot that I can put on my hook, and I can loosen and tighten as needed. That's why it's called a slip knot, but it's not tight, so you can glide up and down my hook. Now we're going to chain two. So before you do that, it helps to hold your yarn. You'll find your own way, but this is how I hold it. I loop the yarn around my pinky like this, then I turn my hand, my pointer comes on the yarn here, and then my index finger and my thumb come around and lightly hold my work close to the crochet hook. And the closer you hold it to the crochet hook, the easier it is to work. But again, I'm not holding it tight. I've got lots of movement. So I'll show you one more time. I just hook it around my pinky here, I turn my hand, and my pointer goes here. And then my index finger comes around and lightly holds my work here. Now we're going to chain two. It's called yarn over in crochet. But what you're going to do is put your hook under the yarn. Right, so this is our working yarn. The point is keeping it straight, but again, not tight. And we're going to put our hook under the yarn or yarn over. And we're going to hook it and pull it back through that loop that is on our hook. So that's the first chain. And then yarn over and pull it back through the loop that is on our hook. So that's chain two. Okay, if you take a look at your chain, you'll notice you've got like a V shape stitches. That's your stitches. We're going to put 6 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. So what does that mean? This is our hook. This is our first chain. We can't crochet into that because it's just going to undo. We want to go into this chain, and you'll notice like there's sort of like a top loop and there's a bottom loop. Okay, just follow the tail of your yarn through that knot to the bottom loop of your chain, and if you just pull it out a little bit bigger, this is what we're going to put our 6 single crochets into this loop. You can pull it tighter later, but this helps you to see where you're going to put it. Okay, so holding your yarn. All right, we're going to turn. We're going to put our crochet hook into that hole we just made, that chain, the second chain from the hook that we made a bit bigger. Then we're going to yarn over, so we're going to hook that yarn and pull it back through the chain stitch where we made the hole bigger, so that you've now got 2 loops on your hook. 1, 2. Going to yarn over and pull through both. So that's your first single crochet. We want 6 into the same spot. So we're going to go back into this chain space that we made, yarn over, pulling that yarn back through the chain space, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's the second single crochet. Then So the single crochet is just the name of one of the stitches in crochet. So going into that chain space, yarn over, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. That's 3, and just keep going. We want to put 6 into the same spot. So into that chain, I just did 4 then, into the chain space, yarn over, pulling it back through to the chain space. 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's 3. Sorry, that was 5. I'm miscounting, and that's number 6, which we can count in a minute. Just to make sure. Now you can pull the tail tight and it'll close that gap for you. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alrighty. So working from the pattern, we're now on to round 2. And we're going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch. So that's 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So the first stitch of this, again, you're looking for the V shape, and each stitch has a front loop and a back loop. And you want to put your hook under both those loops. So this is our first stitch that we're going under. So round 2 is 2 single crochets in the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next 2 stitches, then repeat around until we have 8 stitches. So we're going to go into the first stitch, making sure I go under both those loops, yarn over, pulling that yarn back through that stitch, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's 1, and I'm going to put another stitch into the same spot, then doing another single crochet. And now we're going to just do 1 single crochet into the next, so just 1 into this next stitch, and then 1 into the next stitch beside it. Remember, I'm going under both those loops, the front loop and the back loop of the next stitch. Then yarn over, pull through both. Now this one we're going to do 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So going back into the same stitch and doing another single crochet. Now we're going to just do 1 single crochet into this stitch, and then 1 more single crochet into the very last stitch of the round, and you should have 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, round 3 is 2 single crochets into the first stitch and then 1 single crochet into the next 3. So we're just slowly increasing and making the bill on our platypus a little bit bigger. So I'm going to do 2. So once again, I'm going under the front loop and the back loop of the first stitch of the round, yarning over, pulling that yarn back through, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through both. And I'm going to put another single crochet into the same stitch. And now we're just going to do 1 into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, then another 1 single crochet into the next, and then another single crochet. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets into this stitch. So going into the stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through both. I'm going to put another one into the same stitch. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet into this stitch, then 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet into the last stitch of the round. And you should find that you have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, round 4 to round 5, which is 2 rounds in total, we're just going to put 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 10 stitches. So this is where your stitch marker will come in handy. So we're just going to do 1 single crochet all the way in each of the 10 stitches that we have, and we're going to do that twice. So into the first stitch of the round, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through both, then you can put your stitch marker in so that you know that this is the first stitch of the round. That's 1, or you can just count it. Sometimes I just count it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And now we're back to our stitch marker, and we're going to do one more. So we just did round 4, and now we want to do round 5. So just take out your stitch marker, do 1 single crochet into the first stitch. Now you put your stitch marker back in, just helps you keep your place, but you can also count it too. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, round 6, we're going to do 2 double crochets into the first stitch. We're doing a new stitch now. Then 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches, then 2 double crochets into the stitch after that, and then 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches until we have 12. So around. So let's get started. I'll work with you on that. So to do a double crochet, you yarn over first this time. So you've got 2 loops in your hook, then you go into the first stitch of the round, then yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops in your hook, then yarn over, pull through the first 2, then pull through loops. So pull through the first 2 loops and then yarn over again and pull through the last 2 loops, and that's your double crochet. And we're going to do another double crochet into the same stitch. So yarning over, 2 loops on your hook, going into the same stitch, yarn over, pulling that loop back through the stitch so you have 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, then yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. So that's 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Now we're just going to do 1 double crochet into the next stitch. So yarn over first, going into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling it back through, then you have 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops only, then yarn over, pull through the last 2. Now we're going to do another double crochet into the next stitch. So yarn over first, going into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops only, and then pull through the last 2. Then do another double crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets into this next stitch. So 2 double crochets into the same stitch. Now we're back to our single crochets. So we're just going to do 1 single crochet, so going into this next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through both, and we're just going to do 1 single crochet into the next 5 stitches. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now if we count it, we should have 12. Okay, so we're just making that shape on our platypus. So at this point here, we're going to turn our nose inside out, or build platypus. And then we're going to pull this tight. We're going to weave this in now. So grab your tapestry needle. Now we're just going to weave, pull it tight. We're going to close that hole so it won't come undone, and we're just going to weave the end of our, just in and out of our work. You just go in and out, just picking up the stitches on the inside, back and forth, and you're just securing it to stop it from coming undone. There's no right or wrong. I'm just picking up, going back and forth until I feel like it's nice and secure. And once you've got that, you can just trim it. No, you don't worry about that, you're not going to see it. So now turn it back the right way. And we are up to round 7, and this is where we're going to change colour to our lighter brown. Alright, to change colour, maybe let's undo the last stitch. I'll show you how I change colour here. So first we're doing a single crochet, going to that last stitch of the round, like we as normal, then yarn over, pull up a loop, so you've got 2 loops on your hook. Now change to your lighter brown, leaving a bit of a tail. We'll knock that off later. And then yarning over and pulling it through those 2 loops on your hook, and now you've changed colour. We'll get rid of that light dark brown soon. So just put it out of the way. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next. We're going to repeat that until we have 18 stitches. So we're now going to do a single crochet into, so going into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through both, and you can put your stitch marker here at the first. Now doing another single crochet into the same stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, 2 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through both. Now we're just doing 1 single crochet into the next stitch. We're just increasing again, making our head a little bit bigger. Now we're going to do 2 single crochets into the next stitch, so 2 single crochets into the same stitch, then 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets into the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochets into the next stitch, then 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochets, and then 1 in the very last stitch, and you should have 18 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Alright, if you want, you can cut your brown here, the dark brown, and leave a bit of a tail, just so that you're not getting in a tangle. We'll knot that in a minute. I like to do one more round before I knot it off. Okay, so now we're up to round 8 to 10, which is 3 rounds in total. We're just going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 18 stitches 3 times. So just doing 1 single crochet, and we're going to do for the 18 stitch into each stitch around, and we're just going to do that for 3 rounds. So doing 1 single crochet into the first stitch, just a normal single crochet. Now you can put this back into your first stitch so you can keep track. So we're just going to do 1 single crochet to every stitch around, and we're just going to repeat that for 3 rounds. Just making our platypus's head a little bit bigger. Okay, so that was, I just did round 8. Now we want to do round 9 and 10 exactly the same. Just keep going, doing 2 more rounds. And while we're here, before we continue, I'm going to knot this. So I usually like to do 3 knots, and I try to pull them as tight as possible. So 1, 2. So I'm just knotting the ends where we change colour. 3, and now you can trim it. Don't worry about these, they'll just tuck in. Okay, so continue with round 9 and 10. You're just going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch around, and I will get back to you at the end of round 10. So you've got 2 more rounds to do. Doing exactly the same thing as what we did for round 8, and I will get back to you at the end of round 10. Okay, just finished round 10. We're now on to round 11. So this time we're going to do a single crochet decrease, and then a single crochet. I'm going to repeat that combination until we get to 12. So we're decreasing, we're closing the back of our head now, so we're making it small. So to do a single crochet decrease, you go into the first stitch, then you yarn over and pull up a loop, and then you go straight into the next stitch right beside it and yarn over and pull up a loop. So you're joining 2 stitches together, and then you've got 3 loops in your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. So that's our first decrease. So we're going to put that stitch marker back in there so you can keep track, and then we're just going to do a normal single crochet. So going into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. Now we're going to do a decrease, so we're joining these 2 stitches together. So going into this next stitch, yarning over, pulling up a loop, and then into the next stitch right beside it, 3 loops on your hook, then yarn over, pull through all 3. Now a normal single crochet, and now we're doing another decrease. I'm just going to repeat this all the way around back to our stitch marker. So decrease is yarning over, pulling up a loop, and going into the next stitch right beside it, yarning over, pulling up a loop. So you've got 3 loops in your hook, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and that's joining 2 stitches together. Now this is a normal single crochet, and now we're doing another decrease. So we're just closing the back of our platypus head, and then a normal single crochet, and now a decrease. Then a normal single crochet, and then a decrease, and then a normal, which will be for the last stitch. And you should find that you have 12 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. Okay, so at this point we're going to pause, and we're going to embroider the eyes on our platypus. So you want to make sure that where we did the double crochet, that's the front of your platypus's head, where it just raises it up a little bit to give it that shape. So you want to make sure that's the front. Now we're going to get our white yarn. I'm just going to take off the black here. Put that aside. Just put the black over there. We'll get that in a minute. And now just wind off some of this. All right. Okay. Now I like to double the thread, so I just pull it through, so I'm doubling it. Just makes the features pop a little bit. Okay, so the eyes are going between rows 7 and 8 and approximately 3 stitches apart. So if you count from the tip of your platypus's bill or nose, or whatever you want to call it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, at this point we're going to work on our platypus's eyes. All right, so just make sure where we did the double crochet, that's got to be at the front. That's got to make the shape of your platypus's bill. In the dark brown, the very last row we did some double crochets, so that's going to go in the front. And now you get your black first, and now I like to double my thread, so it just makes it pop a little bit more. And we're working between rows or rounds 7 and 8, and so we change color at round 7, so this is round 7. You can count it from the bottom if you want, but I know that we change color at round 7, so I'm just going to put it here. We want it in the center. Well, we want our fake nose, and then we're going to do 3 stitches apart, so each hole is kind of like a stitch. So if I put one eye here, I just kind of look at it first. So one eye here, one, the other eye here. I think that will work. So just weave in your black, and I always leave a tail because we're going to knot that later on. And then you go up 1 row. And I do that about 3 times in the same spot, so into the same stitches. I just go over it about 3 times. Just keep your tail, because it is very painful if you get it tangled, like I've just, so just keep that, try and keep that free of tangles. So that's twice. Now I'm going to go 1 more. And I'm just doing it into the same stitches. Okay, now I'm skipping 3. 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go over and do the next eye. So 1, 2, 3. I might actually skip. Let me see what it looks like before you. Each one is different. I'll try. You might find yours is different. You might want to skip more or less. Okay, just keep your tail free of tangles. And then I'm going to go up a row. Sorry, just looking at it. All right. Wondering if I should move it over a bit more. Now I'm just going to do, I can change it later, I'll give it a go here. Just 3 times. This is the same stitch. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. You can, I'm just going to do the same stitch one more time. And I want it to, because I want to move my eye over, like I want it to go, the yarn to go on this side, just to make it a little bit bigger. So you can just guide it, just wrap it around and then just go in there. Okay, once you're happy with that, you trim off your blackbird and your tail, and then grab some white. And grab some white. We're going to make the catch lights in our platypus's eyes. Alright, so just make sure, again, just be really diligent about keeping these not tangle free, because it is such a pain to redo. Alright, so I'm just going into the same spot, so into the same where we did the black, and again leave a tail, and I'm just doing one this time. And guide it where you want it to go with your thumb. So I want it to land on the side of the eye like that, and then once you're happy with it, go over to the next eye and do the same thing. And I want it to go down this side. It's a little bit fiddly, but once it's done, your whole, like the whole head is complete. Just, you don't have to add them on later. Alright, a little bit tighter. Okay, once you're happy with that, cut your white in the tail. And you should find that you'll have 2 strands of black on this side and 2 strands of white on this side, and 2 strands of black, 2 strands of white on this side. So what we're going to do is we're going to knot the 2 on this side together and then knot those 2. Alright, so with the first knot, I try not to, I pull it firm, but not too tight, because what will happen is it pulls in the face features at the front and then it doesn't look as nice. So just don't do it too tight this first knot. I always do 3 knots. So this first knot is just firm. And now we're going to do 2 more knots, and these ones can be really tight. Oops. And now trim it. And then once again, grab the ones on this side. Grab the 2 white and the 2 black. And again, don't do the first knot too tight. Just nice and firm. And then the next knots can be tighter. Now you can trim it. And just tuck that into the head. Alrighty. Now you can add a bit of filling Yeah, no, I didn't feel the bill on this one. I just feel the back of the head. But that's up to you. And we can add a little bit more once we start closing the back of the head a bit more. Just to give it its shape. Alright, so now what I'm going to pause here and close the head a little bit more, and then I'm going to add a little bit more filling. So we're going to, we're on the last round, and in the pattern we're up to round 12, and we're just going to single crochet decrease every stitch around until we have 6 stitches. So remember joining 2 stitches together, so yarn over, so going into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, then yarn going into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So we're joining to the 2 together, and we're going to do decreases all the way around. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then into the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. I'm going to do one more decrease, and then I'm going to add a bit more filling. And then I'm going to do, I want to add a little bit more filling to my head. And I don't want to fill the nose, so I'm just trying to get it into the back of the head so it's got a nice shape. Okay. And now we're going to continue doing our decreases. So I've got 3 more to go. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops in your hook, pull through all 3. And I still think I might add a little bit more filling to mine. I just feel like this back bit needs a little bit more. Not much, just a little bit. Okay, and now I've got 2 more decreases to go. So into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops in your hook, pull through all 3, and 1 more. Alright, now cut your yarn, leaving the tail. This is what's called finishing off in crochet, essentially casting off like knitting. So then just yarn over, pull that yarn all the way through the loop that is on your hook, and just push, get your platypus into shape if you like. Now we're going to close the back of the head, so getting a tapestry needle. Now remember how each stitch has a front loop and a back loop? This time we only want to go into the front loop only. I'm just going around all the 6 stitches, just going into the front loop. Now you can pull it tight and it just closes, neatly closes the back of the platypus's head. And now what you do with this is, I usually like to knot it actually, just to make sure it's secure. You don't have to, you can just weave it in and out. Just give it a look. Now you're weaving your ends in and out of the back of your platypus's head. So just going in and out, there's no right and wrong, just tightening away, making it nice and secure. Okay. Now, once that's done, you can trim this really close to the head this time so you can't see it. And that is our platypus's head done. So this is our first tutorial for Tao the platypus. And I will see you in the next tutorial, and we'll work on his body and his arms and his tail. That might be 1 or 2 tutorials, I'm not sure, we'll see how we go. But thank you for watching, and continue to watch to finish off Tao the platypus pencil topper. Thanks for now, bye.